several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. It all tugs at your heartstrings. It's actually a song, as much of melancholy as of wisdom. And that's the reason I love the Gita.
It's from Rosemary. And she says, Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. When you speak on trust or faith and understanding or knowing, what is understanding for if it is not to be trusted? Are understanding and faith mutually exclusive? Cannot understanding lead towards trust? Thank you. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Some part of it is spiritual and the other is merely grammatical. We'll go into it. When the Bible says here, trust in the Lord, that trust is the same as faith, faith of the highest order. And when it is said, lean not on your own understanding, understanding here means comprehension. Understanding in its purest sense is always impersonal. Always. The moment one says, my own understanding, it is not understanding anymore, it is merely comprehension. It is merely the mind's effort to decode according to its own personal convenience and within its own personal limits. Similarly, heart. Heart is impersonal. Heart is impersonal. But the moment one says, my heart, it is analogous to saying the mind, my mind. Similarly, soul. Soul is impersonal. But the moment you say my own soul, now you are just talking of a corner of your mind. Truth too is impersonal. It has nothing to do with one's limited personality or opinion. But the moment you say my truth, you have greatly reduced truth. Best is to not to use the word understanding in the personal context at all. The moment you say I understand, you're not talking of understanding anymore. Yes, you can say I analyze, I comprehend, I decode. The mind can have knowledge and information, but not understanding. Understanding is when the mind that had proceeded towards understanding gets lost in the proceedings. So one is much better off saying, I comprehend, or I am trying. I understand is an oxymoron and also a statement of arrogance. I understand is like a square circle. I understand is like the cup talking of containing the ocean. So it is obvious that in matters where one is talking of the ultimate, the mind has to be bypassed. The mind cannot be an authority there. One cannot wait for confirmation from the mind. One cannot think in matters absolute. Even the deepest kind of thinking is not meditation. Even the sharpest intellect is not intelligence. It doesn't matter how fast you are running on the ground, you are not flying. There is a fellow who is walking, there is a fellow who is crawling, there is a snake slithering, there is a fish swimming. There is a horse galloping. Their speeds are varying. But one thing is certain, none of them is in the sky dimension. None of them are flying. That's the thing with mind and intellect. In spite of the best that they can do, they can still not get the way of God. The mind ideates, and no idea can ever be sufficient or sharp enough to catch the mind of God. Jesus tells his disciples, Peter in particular, you have no idea how God works. In this one simple statement is contained a whole treatise on the limitation of the mind. The mind cannot know how God works. Therefore, mind's maneuvers and embarrassment and attempts are all in waste. The best that the mind can do is simply acknowledge its limitations. This acknowledgement is called surrender. I'll relook at your question. You're asking what is understanding for if it is not to be trusted. Understanding is to be trusted, Rosemary. Your understanding is not to be trusted. Understanding is to be trusted. God is to be trusted. Your personal little God is not to be trusted. The personal little God we all revere is called ego. And ego is not to be trusted. Are understanding and faith mutually exclusive? You'd have gathered by now that in the context of the quote, understanding merely means mental comprehension. And yes, mental comprehension and faith are in fact mutually exclusive. Yes, they are. Cannot understanding lead towards trust? Understanding and trust are one, provided the understanding is impersonal, provided the understanding is not carrying the weight of the personality, provided the understanding is not limited by limitations borrowed or carried forward from the person itself. The word understand is so beautiful. In the word itself is contained the feeling of being below something, being beneath something. Understand. When the mind claims that it understands, it claims to be above. Oh, I have understood. Now I am above the matter. There is a certain deceptive self-confidence contained in mental understanding. Understand. Don't overstand. The mind doesn't want to understand. The mind always stands over. The mind wants to stand over even the truth. Stand as tall as possible, stand as tall as you want to, and then see that there is a vast sky above you. You are standing under it. being attentive to the sky is very important. That is understanding.